Agscent Air is a greenhouse gas sensor measuring methane and carbon dioxide designed specifically for on-farm use, empowering livestock producers to monitor and measure emissions from their animals. Methane isn't just a greenhouse gas, it's lost productivity, and how much methane an animal produces is genetically linked. Research scientist Umit Bilginer from the University of Wisconsin-Madison explains further.
Same barn, same feed, same age. One cow produces 300 grams of methane per day. The cow right next to her, double. And this isn't rare. Across entire herds, individual methane output varies by 20 to 25%. That is a huge spread for something we thought was mostly about diet. So, where does the difference actually come from? DNA. Scientists measure this using something called heritability. Basically, how much of a trait is passed from parent to offspring. For methane, that number sits between 0.20 and 0.40. In plain terms, genetics explains up to 40% of why one cow emits more than another. Now, that might not sound like much, but here's the thing. Milk yield, the most successfully selected trait in dairy history, has a similar heritability. And we moved milk production by thousands of kilograms over just a few decades. Same principle, different direction. So what do? Select the low emitters, breed from them. Next generation emits less. And unlike a feed additive you buy every single day, this is permanent. It builds up, generation after generation after generation. Some cows are born to emit less. Science is learning to find them.
The Agscent Optiweigh system and Agscent Air GHG 2100 both deliver real-time, continuous monitoring of methane and carbon dioxide for individual animals or whole herds with laboratory-grade accuracy in real-world conditions. Methane measurement adds a valuable data point to existing performance records, helping producers make more informed genetic selection decisions that drive long-term efficiency and profitability. Troy Rowan and his team at the University of Tennessee share how they're using the Agscent Optiweigh system to understand and improve cow feed efficiency through genetic improvements.
My job as a geneticist, I think, is to figure out what the missing pieces are there and how we might be able to measure those at the scale needed to make selection tools for producers. The biggest dictator of success for producers in this part of the world is how efficient can that cow convert forage into milk into weaned calf pounds, right? And the biggest missing piece in our evaluations at this point is cow efficiency on forage.
The real reason that I got into methane monitoring is using that as a proxy for forage intake, right? Trying to get an idea of that cow's, metabolic heat production.
The science has been around for a long time, right? So we've been putting cows in boxes and measuring what comes out of them since the 1940s, 50s, and 60s. We've got a good understanding of sort of how cows use and produce energy. Our biggest thing that we need is right? We need numbers of records. We're never going to put every cow through a respiration chamber. If I can get a cow to go stick her head into a thing, 3 or 4 times a week for 4 weeks, I start to get a pretty good understanding of what that cow's average emissions are. And from those emissions, whether it be methane, CO2, oxygen, we can start to piece together what that cow's metabolism underlying her really looks like.
To monitor livestock metabolism through their emissions at scale, the system needs to be easy to use and work in the environments cattle are raised.
This piece of equipment has been very easy for our cows to train to. We actually set this unit out here 2 days ago, and you can see they've already run it up the field and have trained to it very well.
We've done work and sort of worked through repeatabilities and stuff, and we think that it's sort of the best bang for buck that you can get at this point for phenotyping.
We're the proving grounds for a lot of new equipment, and it works. You know,
we like any piece of equipment that we can just put in the pasture field and not really change the way we operate the farm and get data. So,
and as you can see behind me, the cows really like to use it. So that's a very good part when we're looking for a lot of records.
I'm excited about the scalability. It's sort of the first time that I've thought that, particularly on this enteric methane side of things, that we've got a practical tool that would work for cattle producers, beef cattle producers especially, to start doing this in a routine way.